Paris in the fall, the last months of the year and the end of the millennium. The city holds many memories for me, of cafes, of music, of love, and of death. As I picked myself up, all I could hear was the ceaseless drone of traffic. Life went on around me, but the explosion was to change my life forever.
And hello everyone! I'll be trying to make a let's play of, as you can see, Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars, as you may know in the US, Circle of Blood. This is one of those old adventure games that is dear to me, and yeah, we'll see how this goes. Basically, you start off as tourist, which is named George Stobart, and he's touring Europe. And as you've seen in the introduction, he's just having a coffee, and some explosion just destroys the cafe, and some clown runs off. So George is thrown into this situation where he doesn't know what's going on, and we don't know what really is going on until much later, which is really one of the strengths of this game. And in storytelling in general, lots of good stories rely on the protagonist being totally out of place, something happening to them which is not expected, and they just go out of their comfort zone, which is the case here. I'll try to make the segments not too long, but well, we'll just see if there's interest in it anyway. So yeah, let's go. And I try to interact as much as I can and provide comments as well. This is also a way for me to train myself into commenting and just providing feedback on when I'm currently playing. But anyway, enough with that. Let's just go.
The umbrella had protected me from the bomb blast, but it was of no use to me now. I contemplated crawling under the umbrella and pretending none of this had ever happened.
That would be kind of crazy in a way. Why would you do that anyway?
It was an iron lamppost. I considered climbing the lamppost, but it wasn't going to shed any light on the affair.
Oh, and you can see, rather you can hear the kind of humor that is going to be pretty much all over the game, as George is kind of has a he's got kind of a witty humor, and sometimes I wouldn't say sarcastic one, but yeah, you either like the humor or really don't. It's hard to describe, actually, at least from my standpoint. But let's just carry on.
Wrapped around the lamppost was a newspaper. The leading article referred to the visit of a Nobel Prize winner from some unpronounceable Eastern European state.
Mistake here.
That was the only news story. The rest was rumor, gossip, and sensationalism. Then I noticed the writing at the foot of the page. It read Salah ad-Din, 1345.
What does that even mean? Yeah. Why would you pick a random newspaper laying around? Yeah, sometimes unexpected stuff may come in handy, and this is one of them.
It was a Paris daily tabloid newspaper, full of sex, scandal, and sports results.
Wow. I'm French, and yeah, well, yeah, there are tabloids in France too, so. Yeah.
The table had been overturned by the explosion.
Yeah.
I considered straightening the table, but I figured it best not to disturb the evidence.
There's no point anyway. It was blown by the explosion, so whatever. It's not like someone left their footprints on it, or their fingerprints for that matter. Footprints would be kind of, I don't know. Yeah, whatever. I'm just being clumsy here, sorry.
The blast had blown out the glass, leaving a gaping hole.
Boom! Yeah.
I examined the jagged glass remaining in the window. It was broken, all right.
As you can see with the all the chunks and pieces. But anyway, I don't really want to, but I guess we'll have to follow the clown's footsteps. Oh, by the way, this game actually, the beginning of the game made me kind of wary about clowns, and George Sobart claims that as well in later games. So that's kind of funny. It was part of the reason why I'm not really comfortable around clowns. There was also a movie, but if you know your stuff, you probably know what I'm talking about. Stephen King. Yeah. Let's see, dead end.
The drain pipe looked as if it would bear my weight.
Yeah, but doesn't look like it goes until the heights. But well, whatever. Let's try this.
I took a deep breath and prepared to climb the drain pipe.
Whoops.
I guess the clown had an escape over the rooftops.
Yeah, right. Tell me about it.
The window was protected by stout-looking iron bars.
Yeah, it might look like I'm interacting too much with the backgrounds, but I just want to show you some of the dialogues. I don't remember all of it. It's really been a while since I've played, but I really have fond memories of it. And yeah, it's like I'm just rediscovering the game as I play through. And this is the original version of the game, by the way. It's not the director's cut version. Because, well, I just want to play it the way it was meant to be. Yeah, I know. Sticking my nose into French trash cans, as he's gonna say that afterwards.
It was a battered old trash can. It smelled like someone had dumped a truckload of fish in a locker room on a hot summer afternoon. It was a stack of cardboard boxes which had once contained bottles of wine.
By the way, I really like the voice actor for George, and the way he describes things and stuff. You really, I really feel immersed in the storytelling, and I believe this is part of why the game was so considered so good, because of all the voice acting and just the overall writing of it. It's really I really think it's a masterpiece.
I examined the boxes closely. They were damp and smelly and decidedly empty.
Whoa! Yeah, I know it was kind of forced because I knew it, but uh, yeah. But you see that how the music just shoots up when that happens. That kind of stuff happens a few moments in the game, and that's really cool because you can really tell it's really been thought through. So yeah, really interesting experience. If you can get the game, you can find it on GOG.com. The director's cut version, but they also provide the original version for a small price. I don't remember how much though. I'll have to check that out. But since I already have the game, I mean, yeah, whatever.
I'd had it with sticking my nose into French trash cans.
Well, who in their right mind would stick their nose into trash cans? Unless you've left something which you didn't want to throw. But yeah, I mean, you're trying to investigate and try to find stuff that was left behind. So, uh, yeah.
There was nothing of interest. It was an iron cover concealing the entrance to a drain or sewer.
I'm getting warmer.
I tried to lift the cover with my fingers, but couldn't gain any leverage.
Yeah, how can you lift a manhole cover with your hands? I mean, but we'll see. We'll come back to this later. For now, let's go back. Um, let's check it out. Whoa. Oh, that was the guy in the intro.
It was the body of the old man. It was hard to believe I'd seen him alive only minutes before.
Okay, let's check.
I tried not to meet his stare as I searched the dead man's pockets. No wallet, no papers, no credit cards. The guy's past was a blank page.
Okay, so we know nothing of the guy, and he's got nothing on him. Great. Good start. What the heck? There's a bottle. It's intact. Okay, sure, whatever.
A mysteriously undamaged bottle of spirit stood on the bar.
Let's check it out.
I needed a stiff drink, but I hated the taste of brandy.
Oh, she looks alright. That was the waitress in the introduction.
The pretty young waitress was unconscious.
Let's wake her up then. Be rude.
Oh, my head. Never again. How much vodka did I drink? Oh, no, don't tell me. What is your name, Sherry?
George Stobart, ma'am.
Oh, American.
She asked the question quite innocently, but I could sense her reserve. It was something which seemed to afflict all Europeans. You look like you could use a little help.
I could use a little drink. I feel sick, dizzy, and bruised. I don't even remember the party.
What party?
Just relax and take it easy. You've been knocked out.
You don't say. What happened?
There's been an
Nothing,
explosion.
nothing.
You should try not to move.
Are you a doctor?
Oh, well, no. George is an American tourist. So, I don't actually remember what his job was supposed to be. I think he's studying for some, oh man, I don't remember his background. But anyway, I'm not gonna say I'm a doctor.
No, but I used to play hospitals when I was a kid. Can you remember anything at all?
No. I need a drink. Pour me a brandy.
Drinking is bad. Well, if you're underage. But well, you can tell she's in shock. But she says that she wants to drink, despite that. And if I recall correctly, if you don't give her something to drink, she's gonna pass out again. If later, if you say, because she's gonna, that's for sure, she's gonna ask about the guy here, whether he's dead or not. And I'm pretty sure if you say he is, she's gonna freak out and pass out. So yeah, we'll just give her the alcohol.
Is that straight or with ice?
Just give me the bottle with a teat on it.
I guess a little drop won't hurt.
Oh yeah. I'm not endorsing this, kids, but oh damn.
That's better.
She knocked back the brandy as if it was water. I was glad I wasn't picking up the check.
Tell me about it.
What about the old man? Is he dead?
Yeah, let's just tell her the truth.
Yes, he is.
Oh, mon Dieu. I've never seen a real-life corpse before. Except for Grandmaman. That was different. She was family. Has he gone stiff?
I shouldn't think so. He's only been dead a few minutes.
Notice the accents in the game. French people like her are have a weird accent, and but it's kind of how you would how would English and American people picture us, I guess. And by the way, if you're wondering why my English isn't so freaking different like that, it's just because of my background. If you're curious, just shoot me a PM and I'll just answer why. Because it would be kind of a long story to tell, and you're not here for that, right? Let's see. Here you can see now the interface. Basically, icons will be topics, and you can also ask the person you're talking to about the objects you've got in your possession, such as the newspaper here. So we'll just go through this in order, and just ask about the old guy first.
Did you know the old man?
No, monsieur. I never saw him before.
Well, he seemed to know you. I don't know.
How did the old man behave?
Well, agitated, he kept looking about him at the door, at his watch.
As if he was waiting for someone?
Yes, I suppose so. He was worried about something, that's for sure. If you ask me, he was having an affair. He had that look about him, like a guilty husband.
Well, that is so stereotypical. Oh, but this isn't the kind of stuff that will happen all over the game. People will make assumptions, and you're probably like, "What the hell?" And and that's part of the charm of this game.
Do you remember what happened when the clown entered?
I remember that horrible tune he played all right. It was like a funeral dirge.
I'd never liked accordion music either.
Yeah, accordions. I guess they can be creepy, but generally this is something that you would find in the in festivals, in fanfare and stuff. At least in France. So it's really the one of those festive instruments. So associating it with death is, well, quite an irony.
Did the clown speak to the old man?
No, he just laughed at him. Then he grabbed the old man's briefcase and ran out of the door.
The old man's briefcase. Yes, yes. In the intro, we saw that.
Did you see what the old man had in his briefcase?
No, he didn't open it.
What did the old man do when the clown snatched his briefcase?
Nothing. He just sat there like he was frozen.
Did the old man try to stop the clown?
Oh, he didn't have a chance. The clown dropped his accordion and ran out of the door. That's it. That's all I can remember.
I don't think we're getting anything out of her. But, yeah. Okay, that's fine. We'll just ask her about the newspaper. Because that Salah-ad-Din thing is, well, does it make sense? We'll see.
Did this newspaper belong to the old gentleman?
I don't know.
Someone has scribbled a note on it. It reads, Salah-ad-Din, 1345. Does that mean anything to you?
No, monsieur, nothing.
Okay, long shot. Whatever, that's fine.
Stay here, mademoiselle. I'm going to look around for evidence. The waitress was clearly suffering from shock.
Well, that's really logical if you ask me. I mean, but I don't know how she could have survived this. Because if the epicenter of the explosion was here and she was just at the back, well, maybe she was just further in the back, but yeah, whatever. Let's just go on. There's nothing more here. And just wait for the music to... as you advance in the game, the tune also changes a bit. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's like this. It's really a nice touch if you think about it. I really think it brings something more to the actual feel of the game and the story itself. Whoa!
Please, hold it right there.
Whoa, don't shoot. I'm innocent. I'm an American.
Can't make up your mind, huh?
I demand
The
to see
hell?
the American consul.
Drop your weapons and get down on the ground.
Put that thing away, Sergeant Blue. I apologize, monsieur, but I cannot permit you to leave.
Am I under arrest?
Ah, no, I would simply like to ask you some questions. En avant, to the café, marche.
Okay, sure.
What a mess. This bombing is an outrage, is it not?
Stop that, monsieur.
What the hell?
stop holding your breath at once.
All right, I remember. He's kind of freaky.
Has it occurred to you that he may be dead, Moo?
Oui, monsieur, but I prefer to look on the bright side. Besides, I recall a case where the killer escaped by feigning death. However, in this case, the man is quite dead. Clearly, the killer knew of his presence and...
How many times have I warned you about premature extrapolation? All we know is that he is dead.
It seemed reasonable to assume...
A great detective assumes nothing. Take Maigret, for instance.
But he was a fictitious character, monsieur. Why, he was no more real than Poirot or Tintin.
That's different, Moo. They were comedy Belgians. Anyway, it is unlikely that even you will learn much from talking to the dead. Examine the girl and take her statement, if you can.
Yeah, Sergeant Moo is really funny.
I doubt if she is in a fit state for questioning, monsieur. It smells to me as if she has been drinking.
As I feared, we have stumbled upon a den of iniquity, Moo.
Leave her to me, sir. I am used to handling drunken women.
I do not doubt that for one moment. Et maintenant, to business. Your name, please?
George Stobart. I'm from California.
And what brings you to Paris, Monsieur Stobart?
Travel. I'm touring Europe.
You chose well. The city is most beautiful at this time of year, no?
Yeah, I guess so, apart from the bomb blasts.
Were you in the vicinity of the café at the time of the explosion?
Yeah, I was sitting out on the sidewalk. I was lucky I wasn't killed. The inspector passed over my remark with no reaction.
Did you see the deceased enter the café?
There's real no point in lying. There's just playing like, yeah, you're a cop, I don't want to talk to you. Just be true. I mean, what's it gonna do anyway? You're just a victim here.
Yes, I did.
Was he alone?
Yeah.
And did he say anything to you?
No, he was more interested in the waitress.
Did you see anyone else in the café?
Again, why even think about not saying anything? Because the waitress is gonna say that anyway.
Yeah, there was a guy dressed as a clown. He was carrying an accordion.
An accordion? Bon, the picture is forming in my mind, and it is not a pretty one.
Oh, it is not a pretty one.
Is the girl all right, Moo?
She'll live if she survives the hangover. She doesn't remember seeing a clown, monsieur.
The fuck?
That's
sorry.
odd, don't you think, monsieur? Who
Bad
am I
word.
to believe? I wonder. Eh bien, I have heard enough.
What do you mean?
I am satisfied that you know nothing. You may leave. I hope this little incident does not spoil the rest of your vacation.
What about my personal safety? Can't you at least give me some advice?
What can I say? Stay alert and look out for suspicious characters.
And don't cross the road until the little man shows green.
Great advice.
I honestly believe you are in no danger, monsieur.
Oh man.
Should you remember anything of importance, please contact me. My card.
Ah, damn. Sergeant Moo.
Thanks.
That is all. You may go.
There's not much to go on, monsieur.
On the surface, no. But what lurks inside the subconscious? If the door can only be opened.
Are you serious, monsieur? I thought your interest in psychic detection was purely academic.
Academic? You are about to witness a scientific breakthrough.
Sure, okay. So let's summarize a bit. We were just hanging out at this cafe, chilling, having a cup of coffee. When this clown comes around and just drops a bomb and flees to some back alley, possibly going underground. And here we are trying to investigate. I think this is a good time to call it a day, and I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you have interest in me doing more, just let me know. If you have comments, suggestions for me to improve, please just share, just comment, send me a PM, whatever works. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a nice day.